With political instability around the world, riots running rampant, and government being overthrown, one might wonder what kind of political ideologies the citizens of the country have. We are used to thinking in terms of conservatism and liberalism. However, today, we are going to be talking about something different: anarchy. Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to Purple Hippo. We love the fact that we have returning viewers, and if you are new, we hope to make you part of our viewing family as well. We strive to make exciting and catchy topics for you to enjoy when you are watching our videos. Today we have a political topic, which is going to be talking about groups which look to overthrow the government and institute a sense of egalitarianism in the country. We are of course talking about anarchists. If you have ever come across graffiti around town, chances are you have seen the letter A. This A stands alone or is encircled. This A does not exist with other letters before or after it. It is a distinctive and relatively hard for you to miss. It is not every day that you have a random letter appearing in isolation around town now. This A stands for the first letter in the word anarchy. It is a sign which indicates that the people of the city or town which you are living in are unhappy with their local or national government. They could then protest, start riots, and do whatever it takes to overthrow the government. Though most anarchists try to ensure peaceful political instability, some believe that violent means are necessary. Anarchists do not believe in the idea of a government. They believe in the freedom to live their lives the way they want to and not have a higher authority to report to. This refers to the rule of law, a political hierarchy, or any semblance of power or authority. They object to a form of control which may govern their actions in any way. This is why they sort of fall into the ideologies of Marxists. Marxists too believe that governing authority should not be with one person. They also believe that wealth and power should not be with a single individual, such as kings and queens, or basically the monarch rule. The anarchists agree with this ideology, but there is an added potential volatile element to their thought process. One can go as far as to say that there are extremists in their views. They believe that all people in the country stand equal. Therefore, no one person or people in a government should have the right to dictate how society and country runs. In essence, you can see that they are streaming fairly a reasonable thought. However, it's not that simple. The belief that there should be no organized government is a thought process which differs significantly from the conservatism and liberal school of thought. Both acknowledge that governments need to stand to instill a sense of order amongst the people. What are your views on whether a government should exist or not? Let us know in the comments section below. But be sure not to start a fight amongst each other. Since they believe that the government is responsible for all kinds of control of the population, they also believe that certain aspects of society are affected in different ways by this rule and authority of control. Feminine anarchists believe that officials in the government have harbored a patriarchal society which impedes their rights. Feminists believe that women have been overlooked and marginalized in most of the world. The anarchists blame the government rule for this deep-rooted patriarchy, which has lasted for several decades. Moreover, environmental anarchists believe that capitalistic government has led to cities and towns becoming industrialized to create profit. Industries have decimated forests and natural landscapes for their economic gain. They believe that the government has given them the margin to act in whatever way they want, and in turn, contributed to the global warming worldwide. Postmodernity has given us a diverse range of views to form our political opinions. Hence the reason why most modern anarchists do not support the idea of violence when overthrowing the establishment. Modern anarchists realize that there is more to it than revolts, Molotov cocktails, and burning tires. There is a rise in political awareness and realization for the consequences of violent revolts around the world. They believe that they can work towards overthrowing the establishment, but ensure that no one gets hurt in the process. This is a realistic and enterprising change in ideologies from what we have known in the past. Perhaps one of the most prominent and recent examples of anarchists overthrowing a political leader was in Libya. Muammar Gaddafi was killed and dragged in streets by the political anarchists who did not support his rule. This was one of the most significant and most recent demonstration of anarchist revolutions, which we have seen in the Middle East, Africa. Another closely similar occurrence was the de-establishment of the Egyptian government. The anarchists in the country who were not happy with Hosni Mubarak's rule worked tirelessly to get him out of the office and finally succeeded in their efforts in 2011. The boundary between anarchist protests on a wide scale and civil war is a thin line. Since often at times the protest turns violent, emergency is declared by the military, which puts the country on curfew. It is not uncommon for a civil war to break out between nationalists and those who are looking to dethrone the establishment. This could lead to some pretty savage issues when both ideologies clash with one another. The only intervening force at the time is usually the country's military, which has to implement anti-riot measures and ensure that peace returns to the city. This creates further problems as the anarchists do not want to be controlled by some army of the establishment which they are trying to overthrow. In this video, we have talked about several ideologies which anarchists harbor in their political opinions. There is so much more to this school of thought which has existed for centuries. It would be great for you to research on your own, other than what we have said in this video, so that you have a basic idea about what anarchists are all about. Understanding the views which different political groups have is essential in this time which we are living in. If you are not in support of a government at all, you may fall within the definition of an anarchist. If you think that the government should provide equally for every person in the country and ensure that everything runs like a well-oiled machine, you might be tipping towards a socio-communist. We also think that it is vital that you have opinions on the more contemporary political parties, such as the liberals and conservative. We are well aware that the US presidential elections are in full swing, and we might see a change in the leadership style of the government. You must vote and have some sort of political ideology at this time, as the fate of the country rests in your right to vote. We thank you for stopping by our channel and hope that today's video has been helpful for you. We see it as our duty to raise awareness about the different schools of thought which exist in our time. We need to start thinking outside the box and, more importantly, to think for ourselves. Whether you are a liberal, conservative, or an anarchist, having an opinion matters. Consider self-research and think about what political opinions suit you best. Just because your family has raised you to think certain things doesn't mean you need to hold on to that for the rest of your life. Feel free to check out other videos on various topics as well. We hope that this has been helpful to you. Make sure you subscribe to Purple Hippo if you haven't yet, and tell others about our channel. See you in the next video.